YouTube, what's up? It's Bastion. We're here today with a little bit of a different video because Spellbreak released their roadmap, which is really good news. That's huge, actually. It's basically their short, mid, and long-term goals for the foreseeable future, and there's a lot of good information in there. So basically, what I'm going to do is just read through it and give my comments as we go. Let's jump in. So, here we go. This is the roadmap. Ooh, baby. Hey, breakers. Like I mentioned in the Spellbreak Day 8 post, it's time to discuss our roadmap for Spellbreak. Roadmaps lay out plans for the future of the game and what we're going to be doing over the next months and potentially years in some cases. We'll try to make these posts regularly, but by design, that will most likely be around once a quarter. Cool. All right, so we know what to expect from these roadmaps. We know how often to expect them. Two small notes before we dive in. Roadmaps don't generally include things like bug fixes and smaller features. Okay, we get that. Roadmaps can change. Guys, this is not a Bible. That's basically what those 2 points are. It's like, you know, there are things that they're working on that are too insignificant basically for this this Reddit post, and then it's also like it's a general guide. It's not gonna things are gonna change, and I think that's a good thing to be aware of as you're going through here, to realize that this is what their plan is, but that plan could change, and you know, for the better or worse, that plan could change. Let's look at the short term, baby. Here we go. We're getting into it. In the short term, think less than 1 month. We're primarily focused on patch number 1, aka 1.1, so the next like patch. This includes a ton of bug fixes and showed up. This includes a bunch of bug fixes that showed up post-launch. That's good news. While its focus is on fixing bugs, it also includes a number of small quality of life features, some rebalancing to aim assist, very good news, and updates to sound effects, also cool news. Yeah, I wonder what the sound effect updates are going to be. I wonder if they're going to tweak Storm a little bit, because it is like very, not abrasive, but it's like all encompassing. It almost kind of feels like you're underwater sometimes, when instead of being like in a storm, it kind of feels like you're underwater. So I wonder if they'll fix that a little bit. I wonder if they'll tweak things. I mean, to be honest, so they mentioned aim assist here. I think one of the things that makes aim assist so difficult is just that lightning's sound effect, and wind is kind of like this too. It's just that it's an abrasive noise, and when it comes at and it hits you very quickly a lot, it just doesn't sound good. It's not good in your ears, and that makes like people be really repulsed to getting hit by lightning or hit by wind. I guess in some ways that's good, because it'll make you get out of that situation while you're in game. It's a good like in-game cue. But I know I really don't like those sound effects, and I wonder if they tweak them or just turn them down or do something to them, then that will ease the burden that is shoved on aim assist. I think that might be have something to do there. That said, there are obviously rebalancing issues needed on aim assist. There's a very small population of PC controller players who have specific settings to bump up their aim assist even more, and then they actually have to be, you know, good enough at using and abusing aim assist, to be honest, so that they basically don't miss any shots. And Proletariat has said that that's not what they want out of aim assist, and yeah, I mean, if you've come across anyone like that, you know that it's super not fun to play against and really just makes you want to put down the game. So I'm very happy that they're addressing it. I hope that this patch fixes that problem, but I think it might take some time and some, you know, iterations on working with aim assist to get it right. And I'm just hopeful, you know, I'm glad that Proletariat is kind of working towards a solution expediently, because that is a big problem with the game, to be honest, when you run into it. There aren't that many people who do it, though. And just so we're clear, I'm not talking about most controller users. I'm not talking about controller users generally. I'm not talking about most controller users. I'm not talking about console controller users. There's a very small amount of people who fall into this bracket. But, you know, that's the way it is. All right, moving on. In addition to 1.1, we're also going to be rolling out Shadow Step in Chronomaster runes. This is, well, I mean, good news because they're like foundational runes to the game, right? But I kind of like the game without Shadow Step. Shadow Step is, you know, let's see whatever tweaks they make to it, but it was a very powerful rune before and will probably continue to be very powerful. I think with the reintroduction of Shadow Step, you're going to see Toxicologist jump back up to an S tier class and probably like the best class in the game, just bar none, which is a little unfortunate. You know, I started playing Spellbreak in closed beta 2 and Toxicologist was just obviously the best class. And other classes were viable, you know, right? It wasn't so much different than how you see Spellbreak now. There's a diversity of classes and you can play different classes, but Toxicologist just was the best class. And now it's, you know, it's just dropped down and, you know, you might think that like Stone Shaper or Pyro or Conduit are maybe like the best classes in the game right now alongside Toxicologist, but Shadow Step will make Toxicologist the best. And you know why? Because it procs Outbreak, and so you can just outbreak way more often in way more efficiently your outbreak is much more under your control if you have Shadow Step. That's what makes it so good. Chronomaster was not a very good rune, but in closed beta 2, I mean, it had like special case uses and there were builds and in certain people who used Chronomaster really well, but for the most part no one really used it, in all honesty. Now, the head of Proletariat, Seth, has said that Chronomaster got a little revamp and might come back even a lot better than it was. He even said it might be an S tier rune, which would be nuts, but I'm excited to see what they did to it. Hopefully it doesn't become S tier and become terrible to play against. Which might happen. I mean, Chronomaster is a frustrating rune to play against to begin with, although kind of easy to work around at times. But we'll see. I think if it becomes a viable rune, that's kind of awesome, to be honest, because it wasn't really before. Yeah, those are just describing Shadow Step and Chronomaster. We can move on to midterm, baby. Let's use a time frame of 1 to 3 months for midterm here. Ooh, 1 to 3 months. So what's that? It's September, so October, November, December. We're into December here, maybe. Okay. A good portion of the team has been working on the 2 patches following 1.1 since before launch, and I'm going to refer to these patches as Prologue and Chapter 1. Let's go, big hype, boys. I can't wait for the chapter system to start. Okay. And now a quick diversion to talk about Spellbreak's chapter system at a high level. You've seen it on the main menu, grayed out and taunting you. But what is it? We want to tell you a story in Spellbreak, and we want to do it over the course of weeks, months, and years. It's not just about adding new gameplay mechanic every week or every other week, but about exploring why that gameplay exists in the world. We want to explore new content and an expanding world with us. We want you to experience that and your fellow players. At the most basic level, the chapter system provides you with weekly quest-based story, content, and rewards. On top of that, as you make your way through the chapter as a whole, you'll unlock new gameplay and cosmetic rewards. Let's go. In the coming weeks, we'll have a much more in-depth look at the chapter system. Stay tuned for that one. But I wanted to provide some basic context for the first parts of it described below. Nice, dude. Okay, so this is huge, right? This is like the meat and potatoes of Spellbreak going forward. This is like the story that they're going to tell, you know. I mean, if you played Fortnite, that's what I did before I came to Spellbreak, then you know that Fortnite was really, really good at telling these like grand adventure story things alongside each chapter, you know, each battle pass that they put out. They had these cool stories and in-game events, and things would unfold, and you would be able to uncover things like the quests and stuff that you would go on. The weekly quests would allow you to uncover things in the game. It was really cool. Now, I think Fortnite, their overarching story was kind of like scrapped together, as Fortnite like didn't really think that the battle royale that they put out was going to become the most popular game of all time, and then they just like kind of had to do something, so they just threw a story out there. I think for Spellbreak, Proletariat saw what Fortnite did, and they're going to make a chapter system and a story that goes along with it that's much more cohesive. And I think that I'm so excited for this story that they're going to tell. I mean, they have a really cool setup, right? With the Spell Storm, and you have the Vow Guard and Vow Breakers. We're Vow Breakers, of course. There's a lot of lore that's already out there, but there's this whole cool setup where there's, you know, this was the Highlands that we're exploring on the map, and now it's become the Hollowlands. And why is that? And what is the Spell Storm? How did it come about? You know, the Vow Guard would say that the Vow Breakers did it, but the Vow Breakers know that it wasn't them, so they're trying to figure it out as well. A lot of mystery in there, and I'm big excited for it. I think they're going to tell a great story, and yeah, it's cool. All right, Prologue. In our first major patch, we're going to be setting up the story for the coming chapters, and we'll be introducing the following features. The beginning of the chapter system will reunite you with Avira Emberdane, who will help further hone your skills as a battle mage and earn some tasty cosmetics along the way. Class skins? That kind of makes me think class skins. That would be super cool if we could get class skins this early and in some way in the prologue. I would be big excited for that. All right, the next thing is Clash. This is like basically like Royal Rumble or whatever from Fortnite, something like that. It's a 99 deathmatch mode. Yeah, you're just in a circle. I think it's like a circle. It moves a little bit, and then it's just a number of exiles that you have to get to win the game. This is going to be a great mode for new players coming into the game, especially when you have sweats in the game like me. This is going to be a great opportunity for people to jump in when the stakes are super low and learn spell interactions, learn gauntlets, learn runes, learn talents, all that stuff. This is going to be a great mode for that. So I'm big excited. I don't know that I'm going to play Clash so much, but I think it's a very healthy mode for the game to have. So that's good news right there. Next thing is it's time for a spooky Halloween, which is not canon. Ooh. We just learned something about the HoloLands right there. Some tricks and treats will be coming to the store. We got cosmetics, baby. I'm about to throw down some cash. My wallet won't like me, but, you know, I will like the cosmetics. So there you go. This is actually huge, and they just kind of put it as a bullet point, but this is actually huge. 3 new 3-point talents. So we got 3 new talents coming, baby. Like, the talents that are already there are great and really like adjust your playstyle as it goes. 3 new 3-point talents. I'm big excited for that. That means they're going to be big effects on the game. You know, you only have 6 points for your talents, so this is half your points. These are going to be big effects on the game, and I mean, I just can't wait for them to roll out talents and talents and talents so people can adjust their builds, I mean, to the end of the earth, really. I'm big excited for that. Your builds are about to get a lot harder to plan. I believe it. All right, new consumables. Oh, this is also huge. New and some reworked consumables, including a brand new gameplay affecting one. So these are like, you know, in Fortnite, these are the peppers. You eat a pepper and you get to run faster for like a minute or whatever it is in Fortnite. That's gonna be super cool, and that just adds another dimension to the gameplay and how you like collect those and where they are on the map. All that stuff, super cool. You know, these might even just be like I have no clue like what the blue shards are, what that is, but maybe there's like a natural resource where you can collect them so you can like take them off the ground like an apple in Fortnite or something. That'll be cool. We'll see as we go. All right, chapter 1. The second major patch is going to kick the story off in earnest. We love that. Can't wait for that cutscene, by the way. You'll be introduced to the Order of the Vow Breakers. That's like what we're breakers, right? We're the Vow Breakers. Who, we're the ones who believe that magic is a positive resource to be harnessed, whereas the Vow Guard believe that all magic is forbidden. And will bring about the Spellstorm, but who knows? But we'll be introduced to the Order of the Vowbreakers and given your first assignment, researching the Spellstorm and trying to put a stop to it. As for the rest of Chapter 1, we'll have more info for you soon. Love that. All right, let's look at some long-term stuff. Long-term is where things are very large and in very early stages of development. Yeah. These things are likely 3 months or more out. So we're talking about 2021 at this point, basically. But have been deemed a priority and discussions are happening internally. This is good news. There's not going to be a lot here in terms of specifics to share, but we wanted to let you know that this is stuff we're actively discussing, designing, and nailing down. Woo! For all of these, they're far enough out that there's plenty of time for feedback and discussion with y'all, Southern boy. And that's what we hope to do in the coming months. Nice. More gauntlets, classes, elements, runes. Baby! Yup. We've got a lot of exploration we've been doing here into art style and for elements, concepts, and prototypes for gauntlets and runes, and more. We've even opened up a few jobs. Oh, nice. Proletariat hiring, expanding. That's good news, baby. Nice. Next thing is ranked and competitive modes. I would imagine that we are not going to see ranked or competitive modes, at least not as a focus, until 2022. So this is going to be very far out. Like, they're not going to focus on ranked at first, right? They're going to have a story to tell. They might have, like, basically a story that lasts all of 2021, and maybe, it might be a 2-year story, it might be a 1-year story, but ranked is like far out. Regardless, Spellbreak's combat, skill expression, and team dynamics make this an incredibly exciting place to explore. True. We've heard a lot of feedback here and have a number of ideas we're kicking around, but what are you looking for? Small scale team versus team arena style skirmishes, ranked league style play, large scale esports matches, private lobbies, something else? See, what I would like to see from ranked is probably like a 5v5 type mode, like an arena style mode, but I would want Spellbreak to completely make that genre their own. I wouldn't want them to just like take, Valorant maps or something like that and do that, or like CS maps. I would want to see, the movement in Spellbreak is so much more dynamic. I would want to see that. What if you were inside a massive castle with a lot of different levels and a bunch of stuff? That would be really cool. That'd be something I would look for. Maybe you're protecting or trying to receive a vital stone, which is another little bit of lore. I don't really know how that works, but that would be kind of cool. And I think it would be, obviously, like, battle royales aren't competitive. Ultimately, there's way too much RNG to deem them a true competitive mode. So having a different mode that catered more towards competitive would be cool. But like I said, that's not going to come around until like 2022. I bet. I would be surprised if we saw it before then. Limited time modes. This is the next section. At the other end of the spectrum, we want to introduce a variety of limited time modes that utilize the crazier mechanics of Spellbreak. Frozen, Alacrity, or Flight Races? Yes, please. Featherfall and Frost Gauntlet only matches? I hate that idea. Loot Pinatas? I don't even know what that means, but let's do it, baby. Low stress modes that highlight the mechanics in new and hilarious ways. And this is important, if I'm being honest, a test ground for more permanent introduction of more experimental features. So they're going to do limited time modes that say, hey, here's a crazy mechanic, and then see how we feel about it. And if we like it, then they're going to put it in the game, which is super cool. And that's what I want them to do with limited time modes, ultimately. Guilds. Now, I don't really understand how this is going to work. in Spellbreak, but if you haven't heard, then the team is very excited about getting guilds together. So, you know, you're going, I don't know exactly how the guilds are going to break down, but you might think that, like, you know, there are like 5 governments basically in the HoloLands. You know, there's like the Bogmore Collective or Conglomerate or something. There's one for the Halcyon, the fort itself. There's one in Dustpool is one, and then the Bamehelm Academy is one. There's a couple others, but basically there are these different factions in the HoloLands, and they're going to introduce some sort of mechanic for, you know, for having guilds in the game, which is super cool. And like, that's like an MMO feature usually. But I'm excited to see how they roll that out in Spellbreak. So just to read this section, finally, we want to introduce ways for you to play together with your friends that last longer than a single match or session. We want to reinforce social bonds among players, give you shared goals that you can work together toward, and proudly show off your group's accomplishments. I mean, that'll be super cool, and it'll be interesting to see when we get to learn a little bit more about each faction, get to see how players break up and what they do, and like what, you know, the big content creators, what factions they fall into, and then, you know, that'd be kind of cool. It's a little bit of like the Pokemon Go thing with like Instinct, Mystic, and Valor. I'm interested to see, you know, which color are you and stuff like that. Be cool. Also, I heard someone mention this as like a cool, what might tie into the guild thing is like there are a bunch of banners right now in Gritfeld, and they're probably on other places in the map too, but I've noticed them in Gritfeld. What if, you know, there's some in-game event where the guilds are competing to like have those banners, and whatever guild is in the lead, the banners in game represent that guild, and when it switches, the banners switch. That would be like, you know, who knows what that whole process would be, but that's a really cool idea that I heard someone say. All right, in the last section here, very short term. As of this posting, the store schedule should be rolling over tonight into its normal schedule. So that will have already happened by the time this video comes out. We've completed our tests, so you'll find new stuff in the store much more frequently. That's cool. Good news. More stuff to buy, more ways to support. That's dope. Enjoy. Nice. Thanks. Also having our AMA and our games on Friday, September 18th. Go check that out if you want to. Nice. That's basically it, guys. There we go. All right. Well, that was a lot of information. I hope that you guys got something out of that. I had fun kind of like reading through, giving my takes on stuff. If you like this, thanks. Let me know if you did, and if I should make more videos like this. Kind of, you know, a step away from the gameplay stuff, the builds and, you know, guides and stuff that I do, and more into like the meta knowledge of Spellbreak. Let me know if you liked it. If you did like this video, you know, you can also hit the like button. You can hit subscribe. I'm Bastion. I do stream on Twitch. If you want to come by my Twitch stream, I stream weekdays, pretty much every weekday, and on the weekends too. Definitely on Saturdays. Right now, you can find my Twitch stream at Bastionlmao on Twitch. There's a link down below. Who would have guessed it? Come hang out there, you know, ask any questions that you want, and we'll just have a good time, you know, running through the HoloLands. It's dope. Guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you learned something. Until next time.